Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, July 31st. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. A couple of quick clarifications. First off, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around as I speak because the market is still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, TUP. Been tracking this one on a very routine basis. And after today, we have ourselves a very, very nice pattern. So as I draw this pattern, please understand that I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that this is some sort of, let's get that out of the way, some sort of great discovery on my part. The exact opposite. In fact, I assure you that a lot of people have drawn this line here already and have noticed this overall pattern. So let me actually change that to represent more of those support part of the pattern. And then let's look at all this, keep it one color here. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the huge explosion right there, and this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. And when lots of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very nice movement. So nothing is guaranteed, but is it plausible? Is it valid to think that the price can curl back upwards, get to that area, and then break up through it? Is it plausible to think that that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely a plausible outcome. So if you like this price range down below $5, you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol NIO, and higher highs and higher lows. I've been tracking this one on a very routine basis, and the uptrend continues. Although after today, we have what I think is a pretty interesting level, and that is this resistance trend line right here, which has done actually a very impressive job of forecasting where these areas of resistance have been. Sure, the price didn't hit it exactly right there, but I think we can all agree it got pretty close. So it's really just a question of moving forward. If this thing does curl back upwards, I think it's a very valid question to be asking right there. Is that price, is that where the, the price, where the price is going to get rejected, if I could get my words out there. So yeah, to me, that's a very, very interesting level. And the neat thing about that is because that's a resistance line, in theory, the price could never, ever break that level. But that doesn't mean that the price is not going to still keep going up because, again, that trend line there has an upward slope to it. So that seems to be the level that the chart is really respecting quite a bit. So any sort of, again, continued moves back upwards, keep an eye right up there around that area, which sits up around the $15.10 mark. As far as areas of support are concerned, first level to watch, going to be down here at that level. Let me change that to represent more so a support. And that level sits at the 14.25 mark. But then from an overarching standpoint, the level to keep a close eye on is going to be all about that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So in other words, from the overarching standpoint, as long as the price is above that purple line, then the overall chart is plenty in the bull's favor. But yeah, preferably speaking, what would make the chart look the best if the price can stay above that level there at 14.25. But overall, the uptrend continues with higher highs and higher lows. Next one here, ticker symbol UFAB. Nice little pattern here, although there is a bit of context that goes in this one. I mean, if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you're buying up around here and your plan was to buy and sell within, 7 minutes, well then yes, from that angle, the chart looks pretty bad because after that occurred, all that happened the rest of the day was essentially a big downwards channel. With that being said, if you care about the bigger picture point of view, part of caring about the overall picture is, okay, yeah, fair enough, there was a downwards channel, but what happened before this downwards channel? And what happened was this huge explosion in the upwards direction, which has now actually given me the ability to draw a bull flag pattern. Again, I fully understand if you're a day trader and you bought, up around that area right there, you don't care about this, overall bull flag pattern. But if you do care about the bigger picture things, sure, the price did pull back here, but overall, it's still got the bull flag pattern. So if you like penny stocks, you like bull flag patterns, definitely keep an eye on UFAB. Next one here, ticker symbol QS, and I like this one a whole lot because you got to think that all sorts of people have drawn that line right there. And when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, as I mentioned earlier, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can definitely produce some very dynamic movement. So while there is no guarantee that if the price comes up to that area and pushes up through it, that break is going to create a bunch of, buying pressure, is it at least a valid thought? Is it at least a plausible thought? And in my opinion, absolutely. You got to think that all sorts of people have noticed that level, drawn that line, and are now watching, especially those people that like to play breakouts. In terms of levels of support, keep an eye on that level right there. and that'll be right around the 1245 mark if there is some sort of pullback. And then, like I talked about already, from more of the overarching standpoint, bigger picture, keep an eye on that purple line, which I fully understand it's very irrelevant right now given the prices up here. This level is way down there, but again, because it's a moving average, as time goes by, that line is going to move higher and higher and get more and more relevant. But yes, in the near term, more so the 1245 mark and that main area right there from the resistance standpoint matter most. But past couple days, big volume, big price movement. So you got to think that a lot of eyeballs will still be watching this one next week. So definitely keep an eye up around that resistance trend line. Next one here, AMC, and I give credit where credit's due. So far, so good. That pink line right there, which on my chart denotes the very famous 200 period moving average, continues to hold strong. Things got a little sketchy with the price breaking down below it right there, but the bears were never able to build any momentum and push to the downside. Once again, the price bounced, came back here, found some support, and then as I speak right now, and again, this is why I like to do these when the market's open, because you can see that candle is actually pushing up towards highs right now. So to give full credit where credit's due, good solid afternoon, nice little bounce here. So can this bounce carry into Monday? That'll be a question that you got to think a lot of people are asking, but that doesn't take away from the fact that nothing has changed here. The main area of support remains that 200 period moving average right down there at that level. So continue to watch that if the price does come back downwards. In terms of levels of resistance, so if there's any sort of continued bounce, main area, at least in my opinion, that stands out from the resistance standpoint is that area right there, which essentially is right where the price is at, which is sitting right there at the $4.68 mark. So keep a close eye on $4.68, which is essentially the top part of this pattern here where the price has been kind of bouncing around back and forth. So watch that. But overall, holding in there, holding strong, and we'll see if the 200 period moving average can continue to provide support next week. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely go get signed up for the free live online class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely go get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, ticker symbol XPEV, and a slow and steady grind continues. Spent the back half of the week right there consolidating out, but then final day of the week got the break out from that bull pennant pattern. So just draw the bull pennant right in there. So got the break, bull pennant, and now continues to grind higher and higher, which is always sure, maybe it'd be more exciting if it was just an absolutely explosive move, but sometimes just the slow grinds is the way to go. So like what was that, NIO, I think. We have another situation where it's looking like this trend line here could, whoops, sorry about that. Try that again. Out of the way, there we go. There we go. So that level right there, I think that's going to be an area to continue to watch moving forward, which again, in theory, if the price never breaks above there, doesn't mean that the chart's destroyed or ruined or a bad thing, because that line is sloping upward. So in theory, that the price could continue to go up forever and still technically never break above that area. So keep an eye on that. And then as far as areas of support are concerned, main level to watch is going to be down here at that level of 2135. So change that to represent a little different color there. So actually, I'm going to adjust that down, this former breakup point, $21.10. So those would be the two main levels to watch moving forward. But from an overarching standpoint, this thing continues putting higher highs and higher lows, and that's the name of the game. Next one here, ROKU, and not a whole lot to say here other than just the fact that it's had a monster day. And part of a watch list is to find unique, to find interesting situations, and not randomly rush out and start buying stuff, but just to watch it. And I would consider something like this very, very unique. I mean, you look down here at the volume, there we go. Come on now. There we go. Absolutely gigantic. And you look at the price action, and the price is essentially gone straight up. I mean, in my mind, that's a pretty unique situation. That's something worthwhile. As far as breakouts, I mean, the breakout already happened right there, and it's essentially closed at its high. So, I mean, do you go and buy right here? I mean, I don't know about that. I could see that being considered chasing. But maybe a pattern forms on Monday. So, and I'm not saying this will occur, but maybe the price pulls back here a little bit. So if the price were to pull back here, well, then you have a situation where you can say, okay, yeah, the price pulled back, but before that, the price exploded. So, maybe some sort of bull flag pattern forms. I don't know. That obviously remains to be seen. But my core point here is that this thing got monster volume, huge price movement, straight up. So worth keeping an eye on for Monday if you like these sorts of dynamics. Next one, PLTR, and very, very impressive move today. Gapped up acted like it wanted to go down, but here the power of charts, look right where it bounced off of that pink line there, 200 period moving average, and then turned around and essentially went straight up the rest of the day, which now we have what I would consider one of these self-fulfilling prophecy points, because again, you got to think that a lot of people have drawn this line right here, so this is not some sort of special talent, but right there at about $18.10, and this is coming from this area of resistance back here. So, you know, is it guaranteed? No. Is it valid to think, though, that the price comes up here and breaks up through there, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? In my mind, that is certainly a valid possibility. So certainly keep a close eye on that area right up there. As far as the supports are concerned, key level to watch if there is any sort of pullback, going to be right there at that former breakout point, which sits at $17.50. So keep a close eye on that. But all in all, anyway, look at it. Rough start with the pullback and then a beautiful rest of the day. Now it's within striking distance of that key area of resistance. So let's see what happens with it on Monday. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And overall, good solid day, especially all things considered. I mean, on Thursday, that was dropping very, very violently. But to see it slam on the brakes, gap up, and then grind the rest of the day, all things considered, good solid day here for Tesla. But moving forward, this is definitely going to be an area that'll need to be watched from a trend line standpoint. So make that more of our support moving forward, which puts it, puts it right down around $255. I can zoom in here. So in the near term, more so now, key level of resistance going to be, and you got to think, I'm not going to call it quite as much as a self-fulfilling prophecy, but you do have to think a lot of people have probably drawn that trend line right there. I mean, it does stand out pretty good. Rejected. Then so by connecting these points here, did a good job of forecasting that area of resistance and forecasting that area. And the good news is the price closed right below that trend line. So does that guarantee anything? No. But does it make it plausible to think that maybe a breakout of that trend line is coming on Monday? That seems like a very potential, or a very likely and rational event that could take place. So overall, though, and depending on how you want to look at this, maybe you want to just look at this as one big overall kind of symmetrical triangle where you have resistance and then the support. So you can look at it however you want, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the key level of trend line right there. So if the price breaks through there, then the next key level of resistance is going to be right up there at that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. But if the price does get rejected, then I don't think it would shock anybody to see the price potentially go down and retest that lower trend line. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. And this is the biggest difference here is it just allows you access at a much lower price level. So if you believe that the NASDAQ as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise, but it's just a whole lot cheaper, which makes it a very popular ETF. And once again, we have ourselves what I think is a good, solid, self-fulfilling prophecy, because you got to think, maybe you already noticed this, but that level right here, check it out at 45.70. The price has been up there, rejected. Did it hit it today exactly? No, not quite, but close enough. So once again, I won't repeat myself too much, but if the price goes up there, is it valid to think that a break of that level, if it happens, could be enough to get the price movement? Absolutely. So keep an eye on that area as the main area of resistance. In terms of levels of support, you have that little wedge right there. So in order, let's map out this to make it a little bit easier to see. Same color. So we have the resistance, we have the support, we have the huge upwards move right here. To make it a little bit more visual, put our golf hole down here for you golfers. So you have a nice little bull pennant pattern right here, which again circles back to the whole idea of if it can come up to the top of the bull pennant and get the break up through it, does that break create additional buying pressure? We shall see. But all eyes, you got to think, going to be up at that red line there, because it's one that I think stands out pretty good. But overall, like I said, considering how this thing just dropped straight down essentially on Thursday to now have it essentially all the way back up there, I think it's safe to say good solid recovery for the NASDAQ. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to go get signed up for the free training. Like I said, it'll be next week, Thursday, August 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit the like button, leave a comment, say hi, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching next week. But those two things help out the channel, communicate to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know you are enjoying, I will continue to get this content out to you. And you all have been doing a fantastic job of hitting that like button and leaving comments. So please keep that up. It really does help out and I appreciate it. So go get signed up for that free class. Enjoy yourself this weekend and I'll see you back on Monday.